Welcome to No Slides Attached. We've missed you, even though it's only been 3 weeks since our last episode.
Yeah, Fede, 3 weeks flies by. That's right. We're back and we're stronger than ever. We appreciate all the feedback we've been getting, the ideas, and the support that we've received so far. So please keep listening. Interact with us through YouTube comments, through our LinkedIn community, and through our monthly community calls.
And today we're officially kicking off our second season. We're starting with a new theme, which is industry. You will learn more about that in our later part of the episode. But first, we want to celebrate this new season with a very special guest. We have today with us Dr. Henry Chesbrough.
Dr. Henry Chesbrough is a professor and executive director at the Center for Open Innovation at the University of California, Berkeley, which means he's very smart. He was the first to introduce and define the term open innovation as a paradigm that assumes that organizations can and should use a combination of external ideas as well as internal ideas and internal and external paths to market. And that's, of course, all to help advance technology.
So the concept of using external and internal ideas, opening your organization might feel like a no-brainer for us, right? We have 165,000 partners in our network, and we're all super interconnected. We innovate through them, we innovate with them, we share our ideas, we share technologies, go to market together. But at the same time, when something as big as AI happens, I think it's only appropriate that we go back and reflect on it. And who better than someone that just released a book that's over 1,000 pages, the Oxford Handbook of Open Innovation. That's, again, over 1,000 pages of content that Henry wrote. So Henry, I think you're the best. I know you're passionate about it, but you also know quite a lot. Welcome to No Slides Attached.
Fede, Helene, it's great to be with you. In addition to studying open innovation, I also have the benefit of being an older person now, which means I've lived through a lot. And in the technology world, it's a little bit like dog years, where things happen so fast that you see a lot. And then I've been following this now for some decades. So it's great to be with you and to share with you what I'm seeing in the world.
That's exactly something that we want to pick your brain on, because we know this is not your first rodeo when it comes to transforming innovations like now AI. And you're also the first and very special guest in our second season. We want to continue the tradition of asking our guests from the previous season. We always ask them in this world of prompting, in this world of, asking a co-pilot or similar agent, something that helps us with our everyday lives to achieve more. So Henry, if you're also prompting in your everyday life, whether it's in your consulting work or academia, what is that go-to prompt that you can't live without anymore?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I think we're all finding our own prompts and ways of using these tools. For me, one that I really benefited from, and this was from Anthropic's Claude 3.5, I think, I gave it the prompt of how to explain this concept called open innovation to a 7-year-old, to a high school student, and to a master's degree student in college, or after the undergrad years, in the master's years. So 3 levels to see how to take the same idea but reflect it at the appropriate language and complexity for 3 very different use cases. So that's one that I have found very helpful, because sometimes I'm too much in my own head and I can't figure out what to leave out or how to simplify without losing the core idea when I'm trying to find something that's a little simpler for a more basic audience. So this is something I found very helpful.
Henry, with you saying that, I'm starting my list right now. I have 2 8-year-olds that I'm raising currently, believe it or not. And boy, the questions I get every day. So I hadn't thought about using it to do that.
Maybe we should bring over those 8-year-olds, and for our listeners, everybody that's younger, we triple, quadruple our listeners, and Henry's going to tell us what open innovation is in very simple terms.
Well, I can read you what Claude said if you want to hear it. It's a short statement for the 7-year-olds. So let's see what it said. Imagine you're building a really cool Lego castle. Usually, you might just use your own Lego bricks and ideas. But what if you could use your friends' special Lego pieces too? Or get ideas from your teacher? That's kind of like open innovation. It's when companies share their ideas and work with others to make even better things, just like how you could make an even more awesome castle by working with your friends and using more pieces.
Wow.
That's
So I love
awesome.
the idea that they found what can 7-year-olds relate to? Lego. And of course, Lego has this wonderful built-in modularity, you might say, where you can mix things across all the different sets and they'll still snap together because they've created this modularity, the standard for how these things connect. So
If only
it was a
technology-
nice metaphor for this application, I think.
And if only technology worked as seamless as Lego, and I mean integration, right?
Yeah, sure.
And ironically enough, I've positioned myself exactly the way I am in my office because if I was to move my chair, you would see the pile of Legos right behind me. So perfect example there.
Well, that keeps those 8-year-olds busy.
Oh, gosh, it does. All right. So, Henry, let's jump in. So people refer to the rise of AI as the next big innovation. As you mentioned, you've been in the technology since the 80s or for quite some time, which means you've witnessed and studied other big leaps, like the rise of the personal computer, the internet, the mobile phone, the crazy thing called social media. So do you agree with that statement? And if so, why?
I do. I think it has incredible potential. I also think that we're just starting to unpack what it can really do. We all know the statistics about how many millions of people have downloaded and tried it. I think what we're now learning from some of the more recent work is the adoption of AI is still going pretty slowly. A lot of people are playing with it and experimenting with it. Very few have really built their corporate processes and changed their processes to make good use of that. And one of the things that I think the tech world sometimes does, and I'm about to give Microsoft a compliment because I don't think it's doing this, is the tech world sometimes tries this technology push idea, where all those earlier technologies you were talking about, Elaine, had periods where there was a lot of excitement, a lot of push, and then people had to kind of figure out, okay, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my organization, my business? And it often took some time before people really figured it out. And sometimes the most valuable uses were not the ones that the people had in mind when they first got going. So in the case of AI and Microsoft, one of the things I really like about the Copilot strategy is people are already in their native environment using the Microsoft's tools they know and love, and now they can augment these tools with new capabilities, but they're still doing the work they want to do. So it's enriching what they're doing. It's not requiring them to completely change the way they work. And I think this is a very smart way to bring some powerful new capabilities to people. You meet them where they are rather than forcing them to change how they work in order to get the benefit of what you can offer them.
Henry, as my day job too, I lead marketing for the hybrid cloud partners, and meeting them where they are is precisely one of the taglines that I use. So I'm glad you like it because it's exactly what we aim to do many times with our partners. And I want to also circle back into what you were saying earlier about, your experience and what you've witnessed through these years. A good example, and I know you listened to this, our conversation in our previous episode with GigXR, how they leverage the Azure AI platform to, innovate. How exciting is that? They made a commitment to build it in our cloud, leveraging, a combination of our technologies and also Azure OpenAI, which leverages others' technologies in our partnership. So how do you evaluate this as an example of open innovation from the concept that you explained earlier?
Well, I think it nicely illustrates this idea of meeting people where they are. In the case of is it GigXR? Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
They've got customers. Those customers have needs. They have problems. They're doing work, and GigXR is trying to support them. And they're bringing new capabilities and possibilities to those customers in a way that I'm going to guess does not require a lot of reformatting and retraining and learning a whole bunch of new things. If we think about the adoption of AI, yes, there are these wonderful large language model algorithms, and that's an important piece of it, and frankly, one that gets a lot of the attention. But AI is really a full stack of technologies. Of course, there's the algorithms, but the cloud and the compute, huge piece of it. Then there's the data that are being used to train these models. And where do those data come from? And there's a battle going on in the industry right now about whether and under what circumstances data are available. Are my queries to the AI engine going to be harvested and used to further train the algorithm? That is something else that's under discussion here. So it's, I think, in thinking about these exciting new developments, it's important to keep the full stack in mind and not just the tip of the iceberg, which are these new algorithms.
So, Henry, change in technology is super exciting, right? There's no question about that, especially when you see the future. But at the same time, for our 165,000 plus partners in the Americas ecosystem for Microsoft, it may also mean changing the way their organization operates, the structure of their organization, and really even their revenue model. With your experience advising so many companies through this process, what advice might you have for them?
I would say two things. One, customers innovate too. So this gets back to the push idea versus the alternative, which is a pull idea. When you're using technology pull, you have challenges and jobs you're trying to get done, and you are looking for solutions. And finding those solutions pulls those technologies into you, into your processes, into your organization. So we talked earlier about meeting them where they are, and here we're talking about pulling in the technologies that solve real problems today. So I think that's something that's very powerful. And then those 165,000 partners you mentioned, Elaine, they are also innovating. They have to figure out not only what this stuff is and how it works, but how do I install it and configure it and maintain it and upgrade it and adapt it so that my customers get what they need rather than getting caught up in all of the complexity that could be there if these partners weren't there to help out.
I think you said something really profound and really simple when you said push and pull. And I think that's a really interesting way to look at what you're trying to achieve. My mind immediately went to creating a list of like push and pull, like what are the things in my business, right, that I can use those two levers. So that's an awesome way to think about it.
You also said simplify, which is the ultimate mission that we have with this podcast, which is taking away all the slides, taking away everything, and just focusing on how would this make sense for the listener and what they're doing today. Because sometimes we get too caught up in everything else, and we'll figure out the technology at some point, but we need to understand why we need to go and figure out the technology if we're going to get there. So thanks for in a way, summarizing very well what we try to do here with these efforts. And also, Henry, just to end on a imaginative and positive note with you, would love to ask you, what is something that you would hope or would see AI solving one day, but you at least haven't seen it do it yet?
So we began this podcast by me talking about open innovation, about this new big Oxford Handbook of Open Innovation. That's kind of a 16th century technology to try to capture a lot of knowledge in one place. What I think these AI tools are going to enable is we are going to be able to search for useful external ideas and knowledge much more effectively as a result of these tools. And so then the question is, with this wealth of knowledge that's out there, what do I do with it? How do I curate it? How do I apply it? how do I integrate and combine it with the knowledge and the processes I already have? So this is something where I think the tools can take us some of the distance, but I also think we're going to get more imaginative and creative about how to apply it, how to use it. And so it isn't going to be any more, who has the most patents in the company that's going to win. Rather, it's going to be who has been the most imaginative and the most intrepid in figuring out, finding, bringing it in, and then connecting it all to actually, back to the push-pull distinction that Elaine likes so much, to really pull solutions in so that we solve real problems in new and imaginative ways. So that's something I'm very excited about.
And we are too. And I can say our partners are. Spoiler alert from what you'll see this season and we've seen so far. Nobody talks about a lack of data or lack of information or lack of ideas. Everybody's talking about how AI is helping them, streamline that, prioritize, and really focus on where there is value. You'll see that all throughout the season. And I've seen it so recurrent in every conversation that I have with partners and customers. Henry, we took too much of your busy time. We're super grateful that you're here to share your insights and experience with 165,000 of our partners, right? And really help us embrace this open innovation paradigm in the era of AI. And for our listener, stay tuned because we are now going to share what to expect on season 2.
Like we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, season 2 is all about showcasing the stories of our partners across industries. Did you know that we have a whole team here in the America's Go-to-Market organization that focuses on industries? Well, we are joining forces with these teammates to bring you the best stories and insights to inspire your AI journey.
Helene, I really love this new theme because it makes AI more tangible. As part of this new season, we're also shifting the structure of our episodes. We're all about showcasing the stories of our partners. So we're going to lead with that first and foremost. Every episode will begin with that story. And then we will dissect and analyze what happened, what was talked about, and how does that mean something for our listeners. So for instance, in our next episode, we'll be talking to our partner, Safin, from the finance and banking industry. And then right after, we'll do what we like to call our post-game show with Ryan Blakely from the finance team. And we're going to talk about, what do they say? What is the opportunity in the bigger picture besides this particular story? How does that mean something for our listener?
And I'm super excited about this format. I think our listeners are going to love it as well. So to officially kick off the industry season, we have the leader of our industry GTM team, Pam Salser. And Pam is a senior director in our team. She's been at Microsoft for more than 25 years, which is amazing, Pam.
You get an enshrinement in your wall after that. She's right there with our founding parents of Microsoft.
And Pam's biggest passion is building a connected story between the solutions that we offer across our industries, which are finance, education, healthcare, retail, manufacturing, energy, and state and local government.
Yeah, that's everything that we're going to do in the next few episodes. Pam, thanks for kicking us off. Welcome to No Slides Attached.
I'm excited to be here.
Thanks, Pam. So we're going to get started with the first question. So in this world right now of like technologies and solutions, why is it so important to talk about industry with our customers? What's the competitive advantage there?
Well, I'm obviously biased, but every customer is in an industry, and that's how they see the world. And so the more we think about each industry and the needs of that industry, the more we're actually solving the real problems. And I give some examples. If I think about it, like in financial services, fraud detection is critical. When I think about education, we need, personalized learning. When I think about healthcare, we've got patient records. So like every customer is in an industry. And so the more we think about how using AI can help in a very specific way solve a problem, we're like creating magic. We're really helping the world. So I'm pretty biased.
But I think that makes a lot of sense. And you just listed the next 3 episodes that we have. So way to get us excited, Pam. People talk about the future in AI a lot. The reality, it is a present. I can't believe the rise of ChatGPT, for instance, happened almost 2 years ago, really, in everyone's lives. So talking about the present, what's happened already, where do you see the biggest impact of AI? What are the shocking things that we've achieved so far?
Well, I do think AI is here now and real. And when I think about it, like we're actually making incredible strides. Like one example that I get excited about is healthcare. And AI in healthcare is actually today, there are partners that we have today that are actually helping do very personalized medicine. So, and I believe this is going to get even better and more effective. But that's one example where we're using AI and we're looking at a person's genetic information and really doing tailored medicine for them based on algorithms of like, if we know they'll have a reaction, if they know they'll have better success rates. So like AI is today. And I think a lot of people think it's in the future, but it's happening today. Our amazing partners are doing real world things today with AI. I'll give you another example. With COVID, we had, many people were familiar with supply chain challenges. Some of our best partners are doing supply chain work using AI to do more predictive supply chain optimization today, real time. So for example, hopefully we'll never have a toilet paper shortage as one example, but that was a real thing that people experienced, eggs and milk and many other things. And so I do think AI is in the here and now, and our best partners are using it to solve everyday business challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go further to even say it's like everyday life challenges, right? So we can all relate to those shortages. I think, all of us relate to those examples that you used. If you think about AI, it's progressed so rapidly. What do you think is like on the horizon? What is something you're excited about or you think is going to be, showing up in the industry space?
I mean, I feel very fortunate. I'm in it every day with every industry. Helene, you mentioned all the industries, but almost every industry has to do transformation. Energy, as an example, needs to do transformation. We have infrastructure that needs support. We have old bridges and infrastructure. And if I think about healthcare, financial services, like every industry needs to change and real time make some dramatic shifts. And what I love is that AI is actually going to impact every one of them. The thing that I probably am personally a little bit excited about is I think some of the predictive analysis we're going to do. So if I think about the forest fires that are happening in some parts of the world, if I think about hurricanes, I do think our environment and our energy, we're going to use AI to better prepare us for a variety of things. So personally, I'm excited that I think it's going to help us dramatically and on the business front, but also in our lives.
Yeah, you picked on so many things that will make our lives better. Saving lives, improving the well-being of people, education. I'm really excited. I cannot under-express how awesome this season's going to be, and especially when we talk about all the things that still need to adapt a little bit so that we can see that full potential realized. But for our listener, that means that they can still be part of it, very much be in the driver's seat of the world of AI. So if I'm listening and I have, I'm super strong in technology, I'm excited about the features of what I'm bringing as a managed service provider or as an independent software vendor, right? I've even built maybe some really valuable IP. But I haven't really incorporated a conversation about industry as part of my go-to-market strategy. You're probably the best person to ask, so we have to ask you, what is your advice for them? Of course, what is your advice other than tuning into the next 7 episodes with us?
Yeah, I definitely am excited for the next 7 episodes where we're featuring some amazing partners and what they're doing. I think for me, it's 2 things, and they're wildly different. But one of them is the art of the possible and thinking about what could AI do with a customer that they have that might be so wildly out of the realm. What's the biggest pain point that a customer has and what could be the art of the possible? I think that's one piece. The other thing that I will say that also some of the mundane tasks that our customers need to deal with, our partners are also thinking about sort of the basic everyday tasks. Let me give you one example, customer service. We need to get better at customer service. And so, for example, we've had chatbots, but using AI applied to chatbots and virtual assistants could really make a difference with really being more proactive at solving a set of, everyday problems. So I think in some cases looking at and I say mundane, but it's sort of the everyday business tasks that need to happen and say, how do we use AI to get better at solving those? And then I think it's also about also thinking big and bold and really just thinking about what's the art of the possible, because technology really can do so many amazing things. And sometimes it's just dreaming big.
Pam, before we let you go, I do want to say how much I relate to your chatbot example. Working in retail a few years ago, 2017, I think I launched a chatbot, and it was one of those old ones that's pretty much like multiple choice, and it becomes like a tree with a million branches. And it was so frustrating because people just want to talk to a human, right? Like they're missing that big element that we're seeing with AI today. And personally, I cannot blame them because that's what I do when I call customer support. I'm like, speak to a representative. So I'm so glad that AI is fixing this for us. And it's probably one of the earliest examples we saw even from 2 years ago.
By the way, Fede, I want to reiterate, I have experienced some chat bots with using AI, and I've loved it now. And I'm normally one of those people that says representative, agent, customer service, live human, something. And by the way, I experienced efficiency and using the AI. One of our partners built a solution, and I love it. And I think that's going to make customer service really incredible. And so I'm excited for what our partners are going to do and how they're going to help customers sort of from the sublime to the ridiculous, from the mundane to the really big. So, and I'm excited for people to tune in to hear about a lot of the great things that are already happening that are like changing the world.
I just had a little bit of a light bulb moment that I think it's so cool for our partners when they're talking to the customers that many of those customers are probably experiencing AI and they don't even realize that they are. So all of these real life examples, are such an easy way for our partners to tell the story to our customers. So that's pretty cool. All right. Well, Pam, we can't wait to continue working with your team and to showcase the potential of AI across industries. For our listeners, subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned and continue this journey with us. Give us your feedback on our LinkedIn community with America's Partner with the hashtag #NoSlidesAttached. We're super excited to connect with you.
Thank you, guys.
We hope today's conversations have ignited fresh perspectives and inspired you to take new opportunities in this changing landscape of AI.
Stay tuned for more insights and stories on No Slides Attached. Be sure to listen in and follow us at noslidesAttached.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.